We've all been there, right? Stuck in a disagreement that's just going in circles, where proving you're right feels like the only thing that matters. But what if the real goal of an argument wasn't winning at all? What if it was something way more valuable? Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful way of thinking that can help turn those pointless conflicts into actual wisdom. So, picture this. It is the dead of night. A young couple is jolted awake by a huge crash coming from their kitchen. They bolt downstairs and find a glass bottle of olive oil smashed all over the floor. Now, this bottle had been sitting right on top of their fridge, and this single shattered bottle is about to spark their first really big argument. See, for her, this is just undeniable. It's a supernatural event. It's proof that the old house they just moved into is definitely haunted. It's a total mystery. But for him, the explanation is, way simpler. The refrigerator's motor was vibrating, the bottle just kind of wiggled its way to the edge over a few days, and boom, it's a common thing that happens. So you've got two people, one event, and two completely different realities. And this is exactly where most of us get completely stuck. We charge headfirst into these disagreements with all our feelings, our gut instincts, and this deep, deep need to be right. But we almost never bring the right tools for the job. We just don't have the mental models to get through these moments in a productive way. So, what if we had a toolkit specifically designed for clearer thinking? Well, that is exactly where the idea of philosophical razors comes into play. Think of them as precision instruments for your mind. So, what is a philosophical razor? Well, it's basically a mental shortcut. It's a rule of thumb that helps you shave away all the clutter, all the unlikely, the overly complex, or the totally unprovable explanations for something. It's designed to just cut through the noise and get you to a more logical spot. All right, let's see how this actually works. We're going to take 3 of the most powerful razors and apply them directly to our couple's late-night debate about that fallen bottle. First step is the big one, the one you've probably heard of, Occam's razor. The main idea here is pretty simple. When you're looking at a bunch of different explanations, the one that makes the fewest new assumptions is probably your best bet. It doesn't mean the simplest answer is always the right one, but it's almost always the best place to start. What's so great about this razor is that it makes you stop and think about complexity. The simplest solution is the one that doesn't force you to invent a whole bunch of new things like ghosts or paranormal forces, just to make your theory work. So let's apply this to our couple. Which theory is simpler? The one that depends on the known laws of physics, vibration, gravity, or the one that requires us to assume that ghosts exist, that they can move physical objects, and that one of them wanted to knock over some olive oil. Occam's razor points right at the fridge motor. Okay, let's grab our next tool, Hitchens's razor. Now, this one is all about evidence. It basically says that the responsibility, the burden of proof, is on the person making the claim. It's not up to everybody else to prove them wrong. And this is just so important. If somebody claims something wild, like this house is haunted, but they don't offer any proof, you don't need any proof to dismiss it. The claim itself doesn't have a leg to stand on until there's evidence. So back in the kitchen, who has to provide the proof? The person claiming a totally normal physical event that happens all the time, or the person claiming a ghost did it? According to Hitchens' razor, the one claiming there's a ghost is the one who needs to bring the receipts. And finally, we have Alder's razor, which is sometimes called Newton's flaming laser sword. Pretty cool, huh? This one is incredibly practical. It suggests that if you can't settle a question with an experiment or some kind of observation, then it's probably not worth debating in the first place. So can our couple realistically set up some kind of experiment in their kitchen to prove or disprove there's a ghost hanging around? Probably not. The whole argument is fundamentally untestable. Otter's razor tells us that this debate is a dead end. It's just not a good place to be spending their energy. So the razors give us a clear winner, right? It was gravity. Case closed. But here's the twist. The argument was never, ever actually about the bottle. And if you use these tools just to win the argument, you're missing the entire point. And this leads us perfectly to a much bigger, much more important idea, the Rissa Framework. It's a whole philosophy for how we should think about disagreements in general. The Rissa Framework suggests that real wisdom isn't about winning every fight you get into. It's about knowing which fights are even worth having. It completely reframes why we even have debates to begin with. And it really boils down to a simple 3-step process. First, ask yourself, is this argument even worth it? Use a tool like Alder's Razor to figure that out. Second, if it is, remember that your goal is not to win, it's to understand. And third, you have to realize that the real prize, the only thing you walk away with that has lasting value, is an improvement in how you think. Let that one sink in for a second. The goal isn't to be right, it's to get it right. That one little shift changes everything. It turns a battle into a collaboration. It becomes about finding the best possible answer together. So let's head back to that kitchen one last time. How could our couple have handled this differently? How could they have found the real prize in all of this? The real prize wasn't proving a ghost existed or that physics is, real. That was a dead end. Winning that point would have achieved absolutely nothing, except maybe a moment of feeling smug for one person and a whole lot of resentment for the other. The real prize was the opportunity to learn how to think better, together. It was a chance to actually understand where the other person was coming from, to play with these tools of logic, and to build a shared way of dealing with disagreements in the future. Now that is a skill that will last a lifetime, long after all the broken glass is swept up and forgotten. So the next time you find yourself in a disagreement, just stop and ask yourself what the real prize is. Are you in it just to win? Or are you there to learn how to think?